Welcome to Gravity Train, the podcast dedicated to helping you become resilient against the forces that pull you down. My name is Bruno. I'm the founder of Gravity Train, a personal training business run out of Honolulu, Hawaii. And I'm here with my dad.
I'm Cleber, and I'm the running and ultra running coach. And we're here to talk about ways to help you to improve your relationship with health and fitness. So that's really our mission. And Bruno, I guess you're going to start with our first topic here, seems to be pretty exciting. I was pretty exciting about this topic today. Very different from what we've been talking about in the previous episodes.
Yeah, I like this topic, performance versus training for enjoyment. And it's different than what we've been talking about in the last couple podcasts, because I feel like um, there's just a little bit more nuance to this, and it's a bit more technical. I feel like some of the other topics we talked about were, maybe they got into the weeds of more the emotional side, but when it comes to training for performance and what that even means versus enjoyment, there's a there's a there's like a really big clear cut understanding of when you are and when you're not doing either one, right? So I feel like the topic of today is going to be pretty cool because the takeaways from this are really going to set people up to go into the gym with an objective and an understanding of, okay, what am I actually trying to get out of this session? And because I feel like that plays a big role in like how your relationship to fitness and health are. Is it just kind of an ambiguous sort of, I need to work out, or is it, okay, this is helping me perform this X, Y, and Z better, right?
Eh, Totally agree with you, Bruno. And I think there's a lot of confusion there and misleading in your mind when you go out for training. And if you don't have a clear cut, as you said, what you're training for, uh, you might be wasting your time if your goal would be really trained uh, for performance and not for enjoyment. So you gotta really have these goals cut and dry. So that's what I'm training for, or that's what I'm doing this for. So and there's a way to actually set them apart, and that's what we're gonna go about in this conversation here.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. So, um, we're both athletes. We both like to compete, but I feel like you have a lot more experience when it comes to a structured approach to training. So, how would you define the difference structurally of training for performance not and enjoyment, different than the mentality, which I think we should go into later on because that plays a huge role in how you even approach the results or like the intensity? But just talk about, like, how do you structure and what are some of the goals of an enjoyment training protocol compared to a performance training protocol?
Well, there's things that characterize each one of them, so you can set them apart. So you gotta separate by um goals. For example, if you're training for performance, you're really gonna have to. It's a goal-driven case. So it's not just going out there. No, when you train for performance, you have a goal and you can measure that, right? So it's important. See, performance, your goal. What is your goal? My goal is finish a 5K in 30 minutes. It is finish a 5K in 25 minutes. It is finishing a half marathon in a set time. It's different from enjoyment that you say, okay, I want to finish a 5K. Okay, you can finish a 5K walking. So that's enjoyment. It's completely different from a goal driven case, which you're going to use some structure to go about. this. So you're gonna train like a sprints. You're gonna train long distance. Like you're gonna train a lot of different with a lot of different ways. So that's the main uh, difference between one and the other, Bruno.
Dad, so what are then some of the goals that people would have if they're training for performance?
Well, there's several ones, and and it's gonna fit for each person will have their own goal. So some of the goals would be probably speed, strength, endurance. If you go for the long distance, skill, there's runnings that are kinds of ultra running, for example, that we're going to train specific skills, which is downhill, it's rocky roots, stuff like that. And then you can have also body composition that Bruno, I mean, you probably would be more of the guy to talk about this. But explain a little bit. How would that be?
Yeah, I think that like when clients come to me, um, like clients that come to me when they have a specific goal, it's a lot easier for them to stay committed, right? Like the whole body composition part, it's like I have clients that want to lose a lot of weight. And so for them, it's we need to know what their body fat percentage is now and what their muscle mass percentage is. Because if you tell somebody I want to lose weight, the way that people think about losing weight sometimes, it's like these extreme cases of you fast for way too much, or you do these like ridiculous diets that you'll get the result you want in maybe 90 days, 30 days. But what they don't realize is they're recompositioning their body. Like they're losing fat, but they're losing muscle. And then they're actually having like a very toxic relationship to health and food because it becomes very restrictive, right? And so when it comes to people that want to lose weight, for example, the whole point of losing weight is to lose fat and keep or gain muscle. So then somebody can weigh up like I can weigh 200 pounds, but I might have 50 pounds of fat on me. So then I want to lose 25 pounds of fat, but I actually want to put on maybe like 10 pounds of muscle. So,
Mhm.
I might end up weighing close to the same, but I'm going to look so much better. Right.
So,
And so I'm in the process of doing that right now. Like I might look big,
mm.
but I actually don't have a lot of muscle on me. I actually have quite a lot of fat on me. And so I'm in the process of I need to lose fat, but I need to substitute it for muscle. And that's a performance based thing. Like I want to achieve something, right? Which is totally different than enjoyment training, which is really I feel like it's mostly a way for you to maintain a healthy relationship with health and a way to socialize, right? It's like somebody that goes to yoga, somebody that goes to Pilates, somebody that like goes to like a running team or like a running group every week. It's like there is no performance goal. You're not trying to become more flexible. You're not trying to run a faster mile. You're just there because you want to have a community. You want to have a community, right? And that is excellent if you know what you're doing it for. But I feel like sometimes people can get caught up in the fact that, oh, and also another thing, they can get caught up in the fact, two things. They can get caught up in the fact that they think they're progressing when really they're just enjoying. And the problem with that is the way you treat your training when you're enjoying it is very different than when you're training to improve performance. One thing that I noticed during like uh when you're working out just to enjoy it, you don't really focus on like the progression of difficulty, right? This idea of what gets measured gets managed. What does that
Yeah.
mean? I mean, that means like somebody that's training, like I have clients that like have back pain, right? I can fix their back pain, and that's great. But in order for me to really fix their back pain, I need to put them in w- more and more challenging positions where their back is likely to have pain. And the more they're exposed to those stimuluses, the more resilient they get. And the more resilient they get, the better the outcome. And so that's a performance based, right? Enjoyment based might be just doing the one thing that you had back pain and now you don't. But performance is like, dude, we need to progress,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So that's that's exactly it, brother. So just to add this, like when we are on the goal-driven side of performance, so it is structured. There's no way out. I mean, it's got to be structure. It is progressive, and you can count on being uncomfortable sometimes. You know why it's going to be uncomfortable? Because you're going to be pushing your limits. You're not just there just to enjoy, fulfill your need to do something, just to feel good, to be fun, to be social, to be stress relieving. You know, so like when you go for for fun, or what is the word that we're using here for um not performance training. So it's going to be unstructured. It's going to be flexible. It's going to be mood based. What that means that if you don't feel like doing it, you won't do it, right? You're going to skip. It's going to be inconsistent. But when you do it, it's because you're feeling good. So you never should use this kind of a training for a performance training, right? So you gotta, that's why we kind of a friend of mine used to say, like, beat a dead horse. Keep saying over and over the same thing. So have your goals clear. Is it for performance? So train for performance. All right. I guess, Bruno, then after we talk about this, I guess we pretty, it's pretty clear right now, one and the other. But and then why people get stuck, Bruno?
Man, I feel like people get stuck because they don't want to be honest with themselves. I feel like people just they don't want to be honest with themselves. They don't want to say that they're doing it for like they say they want to be better, but then they treat it like it's an enjoyable thing. You know what I mean? And then that becomes a problem because it's like as a coach, we're here to help people, but I can only help someone as much as they're willing to help themselves, right? And so what I see is people get stuck in this in this mindset of, yeah, I want to get better, but only if it's easy. And
Only if
like
it
you're
feels good, right? Only if it
only if it,
feels good.
yeah, and it's like, dude, like you've any success you've gotten in life has come because of the discomfort you were willing to tolerate. And so like why would you treat it differently, right? I think it's because of there's there's so much propaganda that says, oh, like I don't know, six pack abs in 6 minutes. It's like, who are you convincing that that's real? You know what I mean? But there are people that like think that's, oh yeah, I'll just do a little bit of that and then I'll have some cake and then and then like you're back. It's just, so I feel like the people get stuck because honestly, they just don't want to accept how hard things are going to be. They want it to be easy. And so like the clients that we want to attract are clients that know it's not easy. It's hard, right? It's a thinking man's game. That's what I say about the training style all the time. This is a thinking man's game, man. You're not just doing reps. I need you to think about what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be babysitting you every single. I'm not a rep counter, right? I'm not here to count to 10. I'm here to like make you like, are you actually thinking about what you're doing right now? Right?
Yeah, that you said everything, Bruno. And it's a simple. pull up, a simple push up, a simple crunch, a simple step. If you think about this, there's many different ways of feeling that step, that move, and that can be easy and can be quite painful if you're doing it correctly for performance. Um, oh,
But I can
okay,
sympathize. I can sympathize with the difficulty of changing your mindset from enjoyment to performance. There's pros and cons to each one, right? Like when you go to the gym just to enjoy your kind of like it's because for some people it's like it's time away from a performance based life, right? It's deadlines, it's kids, it's
yeah,
work. It's like your life is a constant um it's a constant battle to perform so you can maintain the quality of your life. And so when you go to the gym, now you have this guy, this coach telling you, fucking do it right.
yeah.
And then they don't want to do it.
Yeah, but why we sympathize also, Bruno? Because I mean, even if you go, I mean, sometimes I believe this journey into fitness, most of the time, I believe it starts with an enjoyment. Because I mean, it's hard for people to haven't done these workouts, haven't gone to the gym, haven't trained for something. You start right off the bat, like, okay, I'm gonna do an Ironman, right? And you start from zero. I mean, there's a lot of mindset involved in starting from 0 to 100. So maybe if you start to enjoyment, you start to see it, to feel really what really the good part of training is, and then you can transition to performance-based training. Start.
I think go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe another way, or maybe this might be a whole nother topic, but most people do start working out because they want to be able to enjoy like I don't know exactly how I would phrase it, but when I hear about jujitsu, people that start jujitsu, they want to be able to enjoy a sport like jujitsu, but they don't care about the competitive aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they just want to be able to work out or feel good about themselves, lose weight, self-defense. And so there's a different mentality of a competitor versus a recreationalist,
And that's the
right?
way I felt, if you remember, when I started doing jujitsu, and I did for like for 3 years. Really, I mean, I felt really good training, and I compete a few times, but that didn't feel good to me. I mean, I felt anxious. Like just think about the day that of competition, I didn't like that feeling. So I said, well, I'm not competing on that again. So I just kept training, but it's not for everybody. And I know that for you it's totally different. You're a competitor in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, yeah, and when it comes to like helping people get into shape, it's like I feel like the best approach is to start from an enjoyment part and maybe in a way sort of like disguise because we're coaches, right? So the idea is like how can we help people? But people that are listening, like how can you help yourself? And the idea is like you want to disguise your goals like they're enjoyable, but they're really progressive. Like they're really for performance. And like and kind of segueing back into the jujitsu thing, it's like you don't need to compete, but wouldn't you want to be a problem for people, right?
Yeah,
And I feel like that's a performance based goal, but you're not competing. You just want to be someone that when people come into the gym, they go, "Fuck, it's that guy again." You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's I don't know, maybe there's like a correlation there with people that want to lose weight. They want to be able to run a 5K. It's like they want to be some I don't know, man. Like b- talk about your experience.
Yeah, no, as I said, I mean, for me, jujitsu was great. I loved training. I was really like I go to the gym all the time. I wouldn't miss. love to go, but when it came to compete wasn't for me. But a different when I compete for ultra running for the two Ironmans that I've done. I mean, this is a constant thing. That's a goal performance thing that day after day, hour after hour, and that there's different ways. And then you gotta keep in your mind. I mean, what are the pros and cons when you train for performance. So, I mean, the pros would be like it's a measurable progress. You know that it improved your health when you do like that. You have a higher capability of success when you do trained by performance, when you measure things. You have fewer injuries, and you always think on the long term when you go for that. And then you have the cons. What would be the cons? I mean, requires discipline. If you don't have that, I mean, what can you do? You're not going to get there. I mean, can feel repetitive, not always fun. It's rare. It's it would be an understatement and not always fun. It's rarely fun because you're always pushing your limit, right? So think about this. If it feels too comfortable, too fun, you're not training for performance.
I think there's different people. Some people enjoy the
Yeah,
grind, right? You can't say
yeah,
that.
you're
Some
right,
people,
Bruno. You're right. You're right. I'm one of them. True,
yeah,
true.
yeah,
But but that doesn't take the pain away. We
yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
the
yeah,
grind, but that doesn't
yeah.
take the pain away, you know?
I have a
Uh,
client. I
and
have a client that she says you never regret going on a run when you're done,
yeah, ever, never,
ever.
ever,
You know what I
ever,
mean?
ever.
And so it's like just getting to the gym is the hard part, and that's kind of the like cons, pros and cons, right? What we're talking about, like what it means to train for performance, and like, yeah, the con is it does require discipline, but also like Jocko says, he's one of another really famous podcasters. Like discipline equals freedom. If you're
Yeah,
able to make yourself go to the gym, right, and commit, like have a be accountable to yourself, then man, what you get out on the other side of that pain is like relief, right?
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
what was I talking about? I was talking. Oh yeah, you know, you listen to a lot of these athletes when they win these big tournaments, right? And they win these like gold medals and they win world championships and they're asked, or even like business owners, like when they make their first $1 million or something like that. And they're asked like, what's the feeling of winning? And I've heard it said multiple times through multiple different places. The feeling is relief.
Mhm.
And I find that so interesting because I feel that whenever I win, I'm like, ah, that paid
Yeah,
off. That was a payoff.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
happiness, right?
No, it's a relief, and it's not just winning; it's finishing something. You know, it's like when I go for a training, a competition of running. It's not always, I mean, about winning the competition, winning your age group. Is finishing what you set your mind, your body to do. I mean, when you're there, you finished. Okay, I because I usually don't set goals that are easily achieved, right? I like goals I know I will grind, I will suffer, but it is my pain. I mean, I train for that, so I deserve to be there. I deserve to finish, and when I'm done, I'm done. I'm relieved. Okay, mission accomplished. And just to talk about, I mean, we didn't, we did the pros and cons of performance, but what about when you're talking about enjoyment? The pros of enjoyment would be like it is like a stress relief, right? So that's, I mean, it's okay. It's fine. People need that. It's social, keeps you moving, and it is easy to start. You know, I would say so, not for everybody, but it's easier to start, right? That would be the pros. The cons, uh, it's a random progress. You're not gonna see you're like a losing weight uh, fast or consistently. You're not gonna see you progressing in your run. You're not gonna be faster. You're not. Your skill is not gonna improve. It's everything is gonna be like a randomly improving. So and that leads you to frustration as well after some time. So be sure that you understand what you're doing and what you're gonna actually collect after you do one or the other. So
Yeah.
that's really important.
Like, if we just think about let's just like create a client, right? 54 years old, lawyer, like 50 pounds overweight, right?
3 kids.
3 kids, 50 to 70 pounds overweight, right? They're everywhere, right? They're everywhere. Like, how do you, and he's working 70 hours a week, comes home, you know what I mean? He comes home, like, d- doesn't have energy for his kids. The wife is there, but he's not really there. And it's just one of those like grind in and out of the house, whatever, right? But to he wants to better himself. And what does that even mean, right? For him, I would imagine is lose weight, right? And so I feel like the best way is to start with enjoyment. He has to have a relationship to fitness in a way that is not performance based. And I feel like that is the biggest pro of training with enjoyment in mind is just to get that. It's what we talked about, which is creating a good habit. You need to have a good relationship to the habit that you're trying to form, right? Because the problem with performance based is it's measurable. And so you're there to see all your failures. And for some people, that can be very discouraging, right? And so it's again, nothing is bad or good. We're not trying to say one is better than the other, but you have to know who you are and which one resonates more with you. Do you care about measurable results, or do you just care to have a good relationship with fitness and have a coach that can train you and you don't have to think about the progress? All you got to do is just show up, um, and or follow a routine, and they're there to tell you, okay, you've progressed, but you're just there to enjoy yourself, right? And those are two totally different metrics.
Okay, so since we go to the extremes here, we go to like a performance or we go to enjoyment. There is a way that we can actually get uh, the best of both worlds here. So we actually do a hybrid. Why not, right? We have a hybrid lives here, so we can do this with the performance and enjoyment as well. And how do we do this? We kind of do you concentrate like a most part of your week training on performance, and then you do like part of it on enjoyment. And when you do like that, like 5 days a week, 3 days you do performance, 2 days or 3 days out of the seven, I would say, you do the enjoyment. And when you do that, you actually the enjoyment become more enjoyable because you did your workout, you took it seriously. So when you do the enjoyable part, you actually enjoying a lot more. So that's what I think where you're gonna get the best out of your training, at least to begin or second phase, right? You start with enjoyable, then you go to hybrid, and then you actually finally get to the performance training. So if people think that this would work better, I think would be a good way to start. What are your thoughts, Bruno, on this?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way of training. If you're a beginner, I would probably reverse it. I would probably go to the gym 4 days just to enjoy it, and then do
Mm.
1 day and, like, focus, "Okay, every week on this day, I'm gonna see how much faster I am, how how far I can jump, how much further I can jump, how much more weight I can lift, how many more reps." Like, keep something like, keep something progressive in your mind for at least, you know what I
Yeah, I
mean? For at
agree
least
with you. Yeah, you can start like if you're starting from enjoyment only 6 days, and then and the other thing with the enjoyment, you change what you do. You can do surfing, you can do biking, you can do hiking, to do this other snowboarding, to mix in the performance side. So
that's
right.
perfect. Yeah, I totally agree. It's like, yeah, it's like what I notice with people is it seems to be much easier to have a relationship with fitness and like health if they do things outside of it. One, now that's not everyone. I do have clients that are vain and all they care about is looking good. And so they're going to the gym specifically so they look fucking good. And that's cool. But I don't think that's the majority of people, right? I don't know. Actually, I might be wrong. I feel like the majority of people might just care about that, right? And if that is you listening, maybe you should hop off this podcast because that's not us. I don't I don't really I don't really think that's well, this isn't our audience. It's not our audience, right? It's like we're not here to train for vanity, right? It's like it's a slight joke
But
because
there's a
my client.
percentage, Bruno, of everybody. I mean, uh, uh, I have a confession. I think about that.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure.
I
No,
have
for
a
sure.
confession. You know,
Right.
I train to feel good and all that, but who doesn't want to look good?
We all do. No, and I'm not shitting on my clients that train
All
twice a
right, but
day to look good.
confess to me, Bruno. Confess to
No,
us, bro.
I'm dude, I'm trying to look good, okay? I wanna be able to take my shirt off, you know what I mean? Like, all that shit. But I feel like if it's an exclusivity to look good, and you're not really talking about, like, mobility long term or, like, performance, stuff like that, then, but there's something to be said there. Like, my clients let me just finish what I was gonna say. My clients that are mostly vain, they they come to me because they know that if they just focus on vanity, they would be fucking stiff. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't be moving
Right,
as well
right.
as they do because of me. So they get it. They get the whole picture. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. It's like you have to understand the whole picture of the things. Like, obviously you want to look good, but like, it's you look good because I guess the point is to look good and move well because you look good. Did you know how this is interesting. Do you know how the story of like fitness started?
Hmm. No.
So the Greeks, right? They had gymnasiums, and the only people that would go to the gym were Olympians and athletes. Okay? That's so nobody worked out back then. It was like either you were an athlete or you weren't. And
Hmm.
people that were athletes had beautiful bodies, right? Over time, people started to train to look like athletes, but they didn't do any athletics. And so that's where this relationship to fitness really started from. It was to look like people that are actually performing at the highest quality. You see what I mean? And then what it became, then over time, it became, oh, I just want to look good, but I don't care about how I'm kind of performing in the world. And then that's where we're at now. And now, because of this kind of change in kind of values in the fitness industry, where now we start to value more movement than anything else.
Got it. Yeah, no, it's amazing, Phil. It's amazing how things change over time. It's really amazing.
All right, that was a long story, but yeah, I find it's very interesting. So we're getting to the end of the podcast now, and I figured now would be a good time for us to reflect on kind of like where we're at personally, right? This whole idea of performance versus enjoyment. Um, like where are you at? Like how are you structuring your training? Are you hybrid? Are you performance? Are you enjoyment? Like I know you just finished a 50-mile race. So what happens now for you?
Yeah, for me, this year was kind of a little bit of frustration for me because I didn't perform well this year. I mean, mainly because of injury. Like the beginning of the year in February, it was this snowboarding, and I hurt my knee, and that put me off for over 2 months. And then it's starting again, and then I was coming back from the Ironman last year, and I put like a 50 miles right on top of it. Then I did another one on top, and then I fell. But anyway, not a good year for me. But regardless that, I still trying to find the vein here to get back on track. And I feel like the end of the year here would be it. I have a really tough race coming up in February in Spain, where it's going to be like 65K, but it's like 16,000 feet elevation gain. It's going to be on one of the toughest ones, not because of the distance, but because of the distance combined with the elevation. But the feeling of being well prepared, which wasn't the case this year, it's unprecedented. I mean, when you train well, when you follow through, when you don't get hurt, I mean, the feeling of getting to the starting line well prepared, feeling, okay, I did what I needed to do. I performed, I trained well, I ate well, I slept well. I mean, this is the feeling of getting to the start line, prepare. It's undescribable. You know that you're going to perform well, unless, of course, something happened with trip or something outside of control. But this is the main goal. Why I train to feel good, feel prepared, and that reflects on every corner of my life, personal life, professional life, my healthy, my fitness. I mean, my relationship, spiritually. I mean, I only have good things to talk about when I perform well, when I train well, right? So that's why keep, I love this. I love doing what I'm doing here, trying to help people to understand better this relationship between health and fitness. So the reward is so big that people have no idea till they get there. Well, don't you think so, Bruno?
Yeah.
It's
No, for sure. Yeah. I've this year for me has for when it comes to my training, it's been mostly enjoyment. But that didn't take away from that did not take away from the quality of my life. Right. And I think just the story to be told is it's better to do something than to do nothing at all. Just do
absolutely
something, man. Just do something, even if it's shitty, even if it's like we talked about in one of our first episodes. Like if you have 1 hour to go to the gym, but you can only do 15 minutes, then do 15
good.
minutes. Do
Yeah,
15 minutes, right? It's just a matter of just yeah, it's priority, right? If it's not a priority now, it's gonna be made a priority. Uh, it's gonna be forced into a priority, right? And that's when it becomes a challenge, right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I think we got to the end of this podcast here, but we just invite you guys that are listening to us here to reflect and what your mission will be, what your challenges. Reflect in your future training. What are you training for, really? And do what's best for you for have a goal or enjoyment. But we really would like to see you training out there because that will improve your health and your fitness, of course.
Yeah, yeah. And if you are interested in training with us, then you can go to the website, gravitytrain.com. You can reserve a just a 15-minute call with me or my dad. And we'll learn about your skills. We'll learn about your where you are, where you want to go. And then if things link up and when we're a good match, then we'll work together. We try to keep it to high level clients. So we want people that are serious, that are motivated, because it just makes our life easier and it makes your life better if we're on the same
Absolutely.
page. Okay,
Absolutely.
folks. Thank you. Thanks, Dad. Okay,
Thank you, Bruno.
on to the next one.
To the next one. Oh, are we gonna tell them what is gonna be our next one, or are we gonna
Dude,
still
I
gonna
don't even
decide?
know. I don't even know what it is. Do you know what it is?
All right. I know it's gonna be something exciting.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be something
Let's give us a
exciting. I
surprise.
don't.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll maybe we'll keep it like this because we'll wait for the next week.
All right.